So, I'm a drummer, and I love Zenless Zone Zero, and one of the things I love most about ZZZ is the soundtrack. And we've been treated to several of these special EP singles for characters as they've come out, and they've all been awesome. So here we've got Rest a While for Yanagi, and I'm pretty excited to see what they do with this one. Apparently nothing, it's just sound effects, ASMR. Oh, did you hear the bass line lead into there? This song's gonna have some crazy bass. All right, sorry. I'm getting hyped up. We'll listen through it one time over, and then we'll go back and talk about some of the specific cool elements, the songwriting process, stuff like that. Oh. Woo. Great drum fill there. This has got a great fill. Oh, yeah. Animated food. Wait a second. I swear to God, gamers, if that's the most replayed part of this video, we gotta talk about this. I'm shaking my head in disbelief, but now we're grooving again. Let's go. Oh my God. What are these frames? Woo. Another great drum fill. All right. Keep them coming. Yeah. Oh, the bass, man, I'm telling you. This is great. This is one of my favorite drumming techniques. It creates dynamic mid-song. They're going between cross-stick to full snare hits. It doesn't work in every song, obviously, because you actually don't hear it all that often. But it's we'll talk about it more when we circle back. I love this chorus, man. The movement and the groove here. And what a nice video, man. This has a very just kind of simple, sweet slice of life feel. Oh. Drop. No drop. All right, back to it. Oh. I could be wrong, but I think they lifted for this last chorus here. Or maybe it's not the last chorus, I don't know. It's like the vocals are going a little higher with the harmony in the background. Yeah.
I'm home. Sorry I'm so...
Maggie, you're so late.
Tsukaku.
Sorry. But look what I got.
Whoa! Hot pot!
That's fun.
Wait, Nagi, where are your glasses?
Oh, no. All right, so a couple of specific points we want to talk about here. First off, the intro with a smooth little bass roll right into it, right? Oh, just so clean. So this is like a really good intro because it gives you a slight teaser into what you can expect through the rest of the song. And like the vibe of the song doesn't really shift a lot other than like that last chorus. It felt like they gave it a lift with like a little bit more in terms of like production and instrumentation and even vocal composition there. I could be wrong there. It just, I don't know, something about it felt like it lifted up. We'll listen back and see if we can dial in what exactly changes there. Here you've got, you know, the shakers moving. And there's a lot of additional vocal work here. Like you heard a ba 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 ba. And that's present through most of the song, right? All right. Boom. dum 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 dum. So what's cool about the drumming there, and we talk about this often as far as composition is concerned, verse 1 is generally going to be pretty pulled back, pretty withdrawn, right? You can't play all of your cards right off the bat. So drums are pulled back. You've got just the cross stick hits. You've got a little bit of movement with the electric guitar, just kind of being plucked like a banjo in the background there. The bass is there, but it's not really schmooving and grooving yet. You've just got like a nice gentle feel. And it's got a great vibe, right? It just feels really nice. And then we've got this pre-chorus that just kind of builds into the chorus, right? And then there we go. So as soon as the chorus hits, you got to build the dynamic. So now on the drums, instead of being on the cross stick, you're just going right to the snare. You've got extra electric guitar in the background. The vocals kind of carrying the all that crap back there. And it just sounds really nice. And it's a nice, gentle build. This isn't an aggressive in-your-face song. This is very smooth, very sexy, very nice. And it just keeps you moving, right? And you can hear that bass picking up here as well. So that's cool because they're using vocals to provide cadence, which can create motion and movement in the song without having to rely on like a drum fill or even a bass fill or a guitar lick or anything like that. It's just, one way to create the movement without repeating what you've already done previously. There are several really nice drum fills in the song. They actually happen like smack dab in the middle of the verses, in between the transitions from verse to verse and then pre-chorus. And then you've got the bass hitting several really nice licks back there. Some nice guitar licks. The horn, I'm not exactly sure what kind of horn that is. I'm not a real musician, so I fail to identify a lot of real instruments. But you got that in there as well. So what do they do to mix that up? They just put in a little fill with the vocals. A clean little ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. And it's just filling in those notes, eighth notes, quarter notes. And so this is a really good way to identify the vibe of a song, is how they come out of that first chorus, right? Most songs, as far as a pop composition is concerned, you're gonna have a little intro. Verse number 1 is gonna be pretty reserved. A pre-chorus, which is going to give you a little bit of a build, and you're going to go into the chorus. Chorus is going to be the biggest part of the song, generally, unless they push for a big dramatic bridge, which I don't think the song really does. I think they push for a big dramatic final chorus is kind of the vibe that I get. But again, we'll circle back and try and identify what changes in that last chorus to make it feel bigger and better. But here, they pull it back down. And all of a sudden, this second verse, basically everything compared to the first verse, it's just built up. It's ramped up a bit, but not as much as it was on the chorus there. And it creates a really nice flow for the dynamic. It's like waves, literally sound waves. You got up and you got down. So we're going up through that first verse, pre-chorus, chorus. Chorus, we stay high. And then all of a sudden, on that instrumental turnaround before we go back to the verse, they drop it down pretty significantly. It creates like a nice shift. It's like, whoa, all right, we're pulling it back. And then they hit this, drumming on this song feels really, really smart. I mean, not only is it good, it's just like smart playing. Like whoever played drums on here like really knew how to play into the dynamic of the composition that already existed, right? So you come out of that instrumental turnaround with a big bop on the snare. And then I want to talk about the beat that he chooses to do here, or she, whoever it is. Turn around. Right there. So what you're doing there, you're getting on every other snare hit, you bounce between cross stick. I just used the word. How did I already forget? Cross stick again. Not a real musician. Bear with me. Cross stick, and then the next snare hit is a proper snare hit. And so what does that do? It shakes it up a little bit. It gives a little bit of variety again without having to rely on throwing in a bunch of additional instances of percussion or anything like that. Usually a sign of a good drummer. They can do that on the drum kit. You've got a bunch of cymbals, a bunch of different drums, hi-hats, additional stuff like tambourine attachments and stuff like that. You can do so much on an acoustic drum kit, but it's usually a good drummer can fill those gaps without relying on the producer or other instrumentalists to fill in those gaps with, like, you know, shakers, claps, tambourine, stuff like that. And it's really smart because they go between that, and this is a technique that for me personally, I noticed a lot with Michael Jackson. And it's not necessarily just going between the cross stick and the actual snare hit. It can be anything where you shake up the 2 snare hits within a given measure, right? So you've got a 4 count. It's a 4/4 time signature. So we're going to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your snare hits are going to come in on the 2 and the 4. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so if you mix those up, it just creates nice variety within the song, and especially on a verse, which is often overlooked as far as importance is concerned within a song. But I think great songs don't overlook any aspect of the composition, and that's what you have here. So like with Michael Jackson, what you would hear a lot of is rather than going cross stick then snare, you would go with snare, snare again, but like a clap tied in with that snare. And it just creates a nice change, a nice shift. And so here we're more scaled back than your usual high energy pop song like Michael Jackson would do. So you go cross stick, snare, and then on, let's see, I'm not sure if this is going to be like the second part of the verse or if it's a pre-chorus. We'll see how we want to identify that. Then they go to just straight snare. And you wouldn't even really think about it because just going straight snare is kind of the norm. But by not going straight snare to begin with, cross stick, snare, once you go snare, 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 all of a sudden you have more energy, you have more volume, and that creates dynamic. The dynamic goes up, it creates for it literally a dynamic listening experience. And it's just really smart drumming. Listen for it here. Transition. Snare. All snare here, right? And this, I would call this a pre-chorus. And then we're back into the chorus, right? Just moving. This song nice. And you've got such a nice smooth flow to the vocal performance, adding that in. Dynamic. We talk about dynamic all the time. And so here you've got the instrumental turnaround again, but it's maintaining that energy. One last build. Yeah. Last chorus here. I wanted to talk about trying to identify why this last chorus feels bigger than the other two. And I feel like I'm catching like more vocals in the background. I could be wrong. Let's jump back to the second chorus and compare. Here it is. Yeah, okay, it is the vocal. So here it's more of like a ooh, and at the end it's more of a ah, and literally just the difference between an ooh and a ah is pitch, right? You go from a lower pitch to a higher pitch, and you can have the same exact vocalist do it. I mean, I just say it out loud, ooh, ah. One goes low, one goes high. So whenever you apply, you know, like key and tone and melody to it, it becomes a lot more noticeable. So right here, we've got oohs at the last chorus. It's not a key change or anything. They just switch to ahs. It's essentially like going to a higher octave on the piano, if you will. I want to hear if they do it at the end as well. Oh, so that's ah. All right, so it starts with oohs, then it moves into ahs. I want to make sure I get this right because I don't want to sound like I'm just making it up. It's intriguing to listen and try and break down why the same part of the song that's already repeated 3 times now. By the time we get to this last chorus, it's our 3rd time hearing it. What about it actually is different to make it feel different? All right, so we start with oohs, then we go to ahs. How about this last one? I want to say we just kick right into the ahs because it feels like it's lifted immediately. Nope. I will say It's kind of hard to make it out. It feels like there's at least one extra layer of like harmony on the vocals there. And maybe it is just in my head. It could be a matter of, and this is the thing about like great songwriting, is because sometimes for the average listener, you just can't pick it out. And even for me, as I consider myself like a critical listener, I'm having difficulty picking out what exactly is actually different here, despite the fact that it very clearly feels like it has a build to it and it goes louder and higher. I think it's just a matter of this instrumental turnaround carrying that energy over. And so there's no up and down. You just keep going. And once you're back into the chorus, it feels like you get another lift despite never going down. Yeah. I think that's it exactly. I think it's just the bridge. I don't know that much else changes here. I mean, let me know in the comments if we've got any real musicians that watch the channel. First of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, leave a comment and let me know. Yeah. Just a nice song, man. These have been such a treat. Yeah, leave a comment and let me know if you can pick out what's different between that last chorus and the second one. I'd be curious. I think for me, it really is just a matter of the dynamic from the the bridge and instrumental turnaround between those last two choruses. I think that's what's creating that like lifted feel, because there's no down at that point. We just kind of plateau and stay relatively high, and it just goes slightly higher with the chorus. It sounded like there was maybe just this most subtle change to the vocals there and the harmonies layered over it. I could be dead wrong though. So leave a comment, let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, of course, subscribe for more. We've got all of the socials linked down below: Twitter, Blue Sky, Discord, the whole shebang. I'd love to see you there. In the meantime, love the games, love yourself, and I love you. Bye.